engineering, but also is into marketing and corporate finance. Does not take himself too seriously. He has developed proprietary methodology used for successful implementation of payroll and compliance in large corporates. He is a firm advocate of truth and integrity, evident from these services provided by his company. And his dimensions beyond self has got a lot to say. He has personally met Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam while serving as the President of India. This is for his recognition to the social community. So we have with us today Mr. Akash Mahagaonkar, and this program is put together by SIA, the South Indian Events and Wedding Association, with the support of Mr. Sudarshan and Jagannathan representing Mile Foundation. So here we go. Akash, the floor is handed over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jagan, for that very elaborate introduction. Usually once the introduction is over, I usually hear, claps. So I'm sure, it's all going to be virtual for the next couple of days. So with that, all of those who have, decided to participate, thank you very much for giving your time. And, without any ado, let's begin. Before we begin, I would like to convey my best wishes for your and your family's safety during these difficult times. I'm sure every cycle has to go up and then it has to come down. So will COVID. But until then, it's most important that we are all safe. So I hope all of you are able to see my screen. And what we could do is, question to Jagan. We have somebody who's, who will be managing questions. Am I right, Jagan?
Yeah, you'll be having Vijay or myself. So we are both the co-hosts. We'll be supporting you.
Okay. So in case our friends who are attending this particular webinar, if they want to ask questions, Jagan, how can they ask? Can they send a message via chat or what can they do?
Yeah. If it's something during the session, they can put it in the chat.
Okay.
So we'll collect it. Or they want, or it's at the end of the session, we can open the mics up. So we can have a direct question answer session in the final stage.
Okay. So obviously at the end of the session, yes, there will be question answers that we can open up. But let's say when we are going slide by slide, there is a question in between. Can we request Vijay to help us with the questions? So what you can do, friends, is you can put your name and send it to Vijay in the chat box so that Vijay can unmute you and you can speak. Does that work, Jagan?
Yeah, that will be fine.
Because this is something related to digital businessman and helping their clients. So it would be best if you're able to take the questions as they come.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Wonderful. So Vijay is going to be the most important person here, right? So
yeah.
Wonderful, Vijay. Thank you for being that. And without any further ado, let's begin. So what is important during these times in terms of being a digital businessman is to make sure that we have our clients and whomever we work with, whomever we work for. Even if I should understand that most of you who are attending this particular webinar are either businessmen already. Doesn't matter the size of your business, right? It could be a one-person company, a proprietorship company. You could be a business owner, you could be a freelancer, or you could have a small industry, a small and medium business. Does not matter, but all of this is going to be very, very relevant to all of you. What is also equally important, friends, is though I'm going to present, though I'm going to share my viewpoints, program will be very successful only if there is a lot of interaction, only if there is going to be a lot of questions, answers, exchange of thoughts. So let's make sure that we all put forward our questions whenever they come up, and hence we can have a very useful takeaway when we close this session. I have intended to finish this within about 30-40 minutes, and then we can have question answers for about another 30-40 minutes. Let's see how it goes, but I strongly encourage all of you to ask your questions as and how they come up. As Jagan has mentioned, if you have a question, just put a chat to Vijay, and Vijay will unmute you and so that you can ask your question, right? So what's most important is why digital and why now, right? So there are, myself and Jagan, we were talking about organizing a webinar, like something like this. And, he told me that there are so many webinars going on. There are so many, programs that are happening. In fact, Vijay was telling me that he had another program just about 1 hour ago. So are we, so is this a program just because we are sitting at home? Is this a program, the digital businessman? Should we be the digital businessman only because now there is COVID and we are all sitting at home? Should that be? No, that's not the case actually. Yes, we are taking this opportunity to listen and to bring this content to you, but I think this is going to be a very revealing information, and I encourage all of you, whether it is going to be COVID or not, but to implement in your respective positions or in organizations, whatever it is. Now, what is very important, you may ask, okay, what is this guy doing by speaking about digital businessman and digital marketing when he runs a purely payroll and taxation and compliance company? So the reason why I'm talking to you is two. One, I'm very passionate about marketing. I'm very, very passionate about marketing. And second thing, many of these we have implemented ourselves, and we know how it is successful and what it took to get a success. So it's something that we have learned, over about 13 years now. I have a couple of my team members also looking at the names. Probably they're also a part of this conversation, and this is something that we have done. I'm not I'm not a digital marketing consultant. I don't do this for money, but I wish to I am sharing what worked for us and what I see is working outside with my experience and with my team's experience. So that's the whole reason why I am talking to you about this. Now, two key questions: why digital and why now, right? So let's keep going, and let's see why digital. We all know that we have one person has more than one mobile phone on an average. The penetration of mobiles is very, very high. So is the penetration of internet, and hence digital is the way to go. It is cost effective and so many other things, but primarily, as you can see on the screen, 448 million users we have in India. This is, all of these are as per Google, mobile phone users. About 400 million users are on WhatsApp, right? So we have forgotten using SMS. You remember there was a time when we used to text and then wait for that text to be delivered and then wait for that person to read it and then we get it back. Today, texts have just become non-existent for communication. They are just existing for one-way communication, where banks have to send us some information, or for OTPs, or for very static information, right? So we have moved from static communication to dynamic communication. We want to know even if that person has actually read our message, and that's that blue tick. So that's about 400 million users on WhatsApp, and we also have about 346 million users on Facebook, right? Quite a significant number on Facebook. So these are the statistics relevant to this audience that I'm talking to you about. Of course, I can talk about Instagram, I can talk about Twitter, TikTok, and all of that. But let's stick to what are most relevant for today's audience, right? So this is the reason why we should look at digital. This is the reason, nothing else. People spend more time on their phones than on their computers, right? Earlier we had all types of print media. Today it is known that about 60% of print media is only being used for branding, right? Is only being used for branding, and you can see they're all very large companies doing all of that sort. And the marketing and the sales has actually moved to digital, and that's the reason why we should do it. Sorry. We should also note that digital, when done appropriately, is cost effective, right? Imagine you want to reach the people in Coimbatore. You can definitely reach them through digital, but can you reach them through newspapers? No. When you release an ad on the Hindu newspaper, it is going to cover either the district or the state or the nation. You can choose between the district, state, or the nation, depending on the page. But on social media or on digital platforms, you can pinpoint whom you want to reach out to, and that makes it very, very, very cost effective. That's reason number one. Reason number two, pinpoint your target audience, right? Let's say if your target audience if your target audience or your probable customers, whom we call in the funnel, we call them suspects, right? If your suspects are people who are between 22 to 32 years of age, right, living in Coimbatore, you can target them digitally, right? So you can pinpoint your target audience. On LinkedIn, you know that you can target based on designation, you can target based on industry. We recently we ran a campaign. We said that we want to target HR professionals in Coimbatore, Bangalore, and Chennai who have been in the HR profession for at least 6 years and to a maximum of 12 years, right? So 3 criteria, and who do not work in these companies. And those companies are already our clients, right? So I'm able to pinpoint this target audience, and hence it is very, very efficient to go digital if done right. The third, you get fast results. Now, I'm not telling that you will get fast positive results. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying you will get fast results, whether they are positive or negative, but they'll be fast. They'll be like this, right? People like your content will be shared. People don't like your content will be shunned. And that's good, because I don't have to wait eternally to get something out. I don't have to wait eternally to get something out. And hence fast results are good, because I can keep tweaking the campaign. I can keep tweaking my digital marketing efforts. I can keep changing it if it is not working, and continue what is working. And this, my friends, are the 3 most important reasons why we should be digital. I know you already know that India has a lot of mobile phone users. India has a lot of Facebook and WhatsApp users. But what's most important in logic is it is cost effective. It is you can pinpoint your target audience, and wonderful speed of results you get. Whether positive or negative does not matter, but the speed of results is wonderful. So this is why we should go digital. And why now, right? So why do we do it now? One, attention rates are higher. See, what are we all doing? Nothing. Unfortunately or fortunately, however different people want to put it, but we aren't able to go out. We aren't able to shop. We aren't able to drive. We are not able to do anything that is a part of our normal routine, except be at home and do a bit of work that is possible from the luxury of our home. So the attention rates are higher. You understand? The attention rates are higher. So people are more attentive. You are at home. Come on. How long are you going to watch TV? Automatically your hand is going to go to your mobile phone, right? And if you are able to catch his attention on the mobile phone, on the digital platform, nothing better than that. Yes. connect is also necessary. Now this is the second reason why now, right? Because let's say, see, we all know that we are in lockdown from 23rd of March. So typically your customer or your client hasn't visited you for about 27 days, if we include today, right? Hasn't visited you for about 27 days. What may happen? The customer may forget you. The relationship that you have with your customer may diminish in value. I'm not saying that the relationship will go away, but it will diminish in value. Sometimes somebody else may be marketing to your customer, right? And you may lose that leverage or the ability to influence your customer. So connect is necessary. So connect with your customers, help your customers. Attention is available in plenty now, in today, right? In these COVID times, and hence we should go digital, and we should do it now. Loyalty is valued. Who doesn't like loyalty, right? Whether it is you being loyal to your customer or whether it is your customer being loyal to you, both ways it is valued. And this is an excellent opportunity to show. This is an excellent opportunity to show it up, right? So let's look at what comes up next. Now let's come. So until now we saw why you should do digital and why now is the right time to do something, right? Now let's come to the crux of the program, where how can you help your clients? How? So we all want to help our clients, right? Nobody doesn't want. I'm sure there is no one in this particular webinar who doesn't want to help their clients at all. Nobody thinks, okay, I have sold and I'm going to go, right? I don't want to help my clients. I don't care about my clients. None of you are going to think that way. If you thought that way, you wouldn't be in this webinar, right? So how are you going to help your clients? Now, what we know is, yes, everybody's doing something, but what do I do? I have been in that position. Many times we continue to be in the same position. Okay, what do we do now? How do we help our clients now? Right, so let's look at some frameworks, and then let's look at some examples also. Again, my dear friends, to remind you, if you have a compelling question, if you want me to stop, message our friend here, and we can take your questions. You can be unmuted. Otherwise, we always have a Q&A session at the end of the program, right? But if you feel that there is something which is very important in the slide that you are looking at currently, stop me right now. So how can you help your clients? Right? So when we talk about we helping our clients, there are two dimensions or two levels that we should call, right? One level is on the personal level, and the other level is on the business level. So see, a business is a business on its own. A business is an entity on its own. You and the business are two different entities. You and the business are two different entities. At very few trades can both of these become one. But otherwise, you and the business are two different entities, right? So as a business owner, the first and foremost question that you need to ask yourself is, do I want to help my clients in the personal level, or do I want to help my clients on the business level, right? For the sake of this particular webinar, we are going to focus on the business level, because it's all about being a digital business owner. It's all about being a digital business owner. So we want to focus on the business level, not on the personal level. So let's, that's what we are going to focus on. So what are the, before we even talk about, starting to focus on the business level, what are the advantages of being, see, both of them are good. None of them are bad, but both of them have very unique advantages. Right? Like, for example, if you do on a business level, you can build better brand. Business is on the right hand side, and personal is on the left hand side. So on the business level, you can build a better brand and you can look at long-term sales, not short-term sales, definitely long-term sales. That is what loyalty gives you, right? Loyalty and quality drives referrals, and referrals drive sales, right? So the advantages on being on a business level is that you get better brand visibility, better brand value, and then you also get long-term sales. Now, please understand, it is long-term. Just because you're doing one video today or one post tomorrow or one share the day after, when you open up, you're not going to get sales. That's not how it is going to happen. And I'm not promising that, right? So it is long-term sales. You have to understand that just like how we invest in people coming to our shops or our businesses through other channels, digital is a very important channel that we have to invest in. Digital is a very important channel that we have to invest in. So when we mean investments, we have to invest a bit. So mostly you can invest just your efforts. It costs next to nothing. Mostly it doesn't cost you at all, except your efforts. Except your efforts. Otherwise, it doesn't cost you at all, right? So put consistent efforts in the digital, and you can be promised that digital will become a channel for your customers to walk in. Right? And then on the personal level, there are certain advantages. Like, for example, you can build better personal relationships. Right? And then you can also show out your expertise on a personal level. So those are two different advantages, but each have their own advantages, as I told. But we are going to focus on the business ideas or the business aspect of it. So can you see the screen? I want you to look at the screen and I want you to understand it. I'm going to stop here for about 10 seconds. Okay, so as you can see, the one and only way, friends, the one and only way to help your customers or your clients, whatever you want to call them, is to create content useful for your customer. That's the one and only way. There is no other way at all. There is no other way at all. The one and only way, again, I would like to reiterate, the one and only way is to create content that is useful for your customer. That is the only way of how you can help, how you can be a digital business owner, and how that can act as your sales, long-term sales pipeline, right? Long-term sales pipeline. This is the only way, no other way. Don't believe anything that anybody else says. That's all bullshit. The only way is when you put out content which helps your customers. That's the only way, right? Now, I'm giving you some examples. Now, these are not exhaustive examples. These are not the only four. I wouldn't say that there are only four. No, not at all. But myself and Jagan, we were discussing who could be the target audience, what kind of people would participate in this particular webinar, and where is this being circulated. So based on that, we have created this particular examples of content that is useful for your customers, right? So 1, how to videos. 2, industry related tips. 3, tutorials. And 4th, comparisons. Now these may sound very complex. Oh my God, how do I create a how to video? It's very, I don't have a camera, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have a setting. Friends, you don't require anything to do a how-to video. It can be very, very simple. You can use your you can use your phone to shoot a how-to video. Nothing else is required. Nothing else is required. No professional setup is required. No professional agency or video creating agency is required. In fact, many online softwares allow you to even edit the videos. So you don't have to purchase anything, right? So that's example number one. Example number two, industry related tips, right? So how many of you have seen many tips coming out right now? What to do during COVID, what not to do during COVID, what has to happen, what should not happen, do this, do that, how to maintain this, how to maintain that. All of them are called as industry related tips. And a very big example of industry related tips are usually the recipes that you can see, right? The recipes that you can see, yes, they are tips. Okay, how do you cook this, how do you cook that? We all have YouTube to cook now, tutorials and comparisons, which is better. You have five options, which is better, what is happening, right? So these are the simplest and the easiest ways of creating content for business level, right? Simplest, easiest, most cost effective ways of creating content on business level. Now let's look at some examples. Maybe you belong to some industries that I'm talking about, you don't belong to them, does not matter. But every industry, we can have examples for every industry that you're in. I can promise you that. We just have to think, right? So let's go to the next slide, and let's look at what examples are there for one by one. Okay, so examples of how to videos. Let's say, for example, you run a jewelry shop, right? Or you are a jewelry retailer, you have a jewelry shop or something like that. Think in your customer's shoes. They cannot definitely come and buy jewelry at this point in time. Maybe they may not even buy for the next couple of months because they are concerned whether they're going to keep their jobs, right? So what can you talk to them about? Can you talk to them about how to clean and maintain shine on your jewelry? Right? We have, everybody has silver anklets, and we know over time the silver anklets become blackish. That's nothing but, on a certain level, it's dirt. What if you do a video with your phone? You don't need an iPhone. I have done tons of videos using this phone. This is a OnePlus 3T, very, very old, right? It still helps me do what I need. What if you have a phone and you show them how to maintain and shine jewelry? That's all. Simple, yet something that helps your customers. And when it goes from you, when it goes from the business owner, when it goes from the shop owner, think of what loyalty that you're going to get back in return if you don't sell, but if you help your customers. Another example is, let's say you have a gym. Everything is closed down. Nobody can come to your gym. But what if you are able to, right, create simple videos who says, do simple exercises at home and be healthy, right? So not only that this goes to your customer, but don't you think that if the content or if the video is good enough, your customer may forward it to a couple of his friends? We do that, right? When we get something which is useful, we forward it, and that's what your customer may also do. So it is not only to your customer, but you're also helping a lot more people. This is one example of how to videos. Now let's look at another example. Example of industry related tips. We spoke about the item number 2 on our list, industry related tips. So let's go at let's speak about some examples. So let's say you have a boutique, right? Or you have a retail garment outlet, or you own a garment outlet either in Prozone or in what is that, Brookfields, or there is a Fun Mall. You just happen to own a garment outlet. Can you talk about how to safeguard your silk sarees? Can you? Or silk shirts? Or if you sell mattresses, right? Can you talk about how to clean your mattresses? Wouldn't that help your customer? Simple, right? Industry related tips. Whatever industry you're in, just share, first create content which is useful, which belongs to your industry, and share it. Tips, right? Let's say you are a freelancer, you are a trainer, you train people for public speaking. You train just like our friend Jagan. He's a big time trainer, right? Not applicable to you, Jagan. This is for average people like us. So Jagan, sorry. So we, let's say we are all trainers. Can we talk about 5 tips to better public speaking? Just create, just keep your phone at the right angle, something like that, and then just record. Have short ones, 5 minutes or 10 minutes max. 5 or 10 minutes max. Why don't you have a video or a write-up? Forget videos. Let's say you're not you don't want, you are screen shy. I was screen shy 10 years ago, and then I understood that I can never ever sell if I continue to be screen shy. And then I got on my screen. I don't care what you think of me, right? So that's how I've become. But anyway, so let's talk about those people who are screen shy. You don't want to do a video? No problem. Why don't you write a simple WhatsApp post? Simple, about 200-300 words, that's all. Or forget writing. Why don't you record something on your voice and just put it up? Think about it. Some more examples. We spoke about the third item, right, on the list. So the first was how to videos. The second was industry related tips, and the third is tutorials, right? So let's say you are a consumer durable retail outlet, or you have a consumer durable business, or you have an e-commerce business, or you have a shop or an outlet where people can buy kitchenware, people can buy cookware, people can buy tableware, something, doesn't matter. But what if you can talk about how to kill hidden germs in your kitchen? Everybody knows kitchen cleaning is important. So if you say how to clean your kitchen, everybody, yeah, I know cleaning kitchen. Yes, but isn't this interesting? Kill hidden gems in your kitchen. People will at least read it or watch it in whatever form you are going to create. Where do they hide? We know where they hide. They hide in that nook and cranny, right? Everybody knows it, but still there is some kind of inquisitiveness. And how do we kill it? So, right, so what kind of a solution we should use, what we should use and we should not use? We all have home duties. Come on, don't tell me you don't have home duties. We all have home duties, and during these times, and my wife asked me to clean a certain part of the kitchen which was very stained, right? And I did, and I started doing that, and I took about an hour or so, and finally I found out that the stain was better than my cleaning it, because I had used such a harsh chemicals that the stain went away, and then it looked it also put a very dirty white color patch on the kitchen slab. And you know what? I didn't. My wife is still not forgetting that. Right. So understand. Can we create tutorials which belong, or which I got one. I used to work with a guy who used to come to our office and do solve computer related problems, right? Now I like to help people, so I told him about this a couple of months ago. Why don't you? Very committed guy. About he's only about 22, 23 years of age. He is doing his undergraduation, right? Currently, he's doing his undergraduation, but believe me, he knows better than a postgraduate. He knows better than a postgraduate, and he can fix simple to average issues with your computers. And I was telling him, why don't you do this and that, and then he did. Now during these COVID times, he actually shared a video of how you can clean your laptop safely. He shared a video. How can you clean your laptop safely? Now, this is not in English. This is not in British accent. This is not in American accent. Nothing. It is in simple, plain Tamil language. It is for his consumers. It is for his own clients, right? You're not doing this for Americans or Japanese or Chinese that you need a universal language. No, do it in the language that your customer understands. And it was nice. He showed a nice dirty laptop, and then he showed how your what you should use and what you should not use. Water is a definite no and all of that. I was so impressed by his effort and by that video that you won't believe. I sent it to a lot of my friends, right? So those are examples of tutorials. And let's say you're a car dealer, or you rent out cars, or you do something with cars. You are a mechanic, simple mechanic, right? Go on YouTube and Google. I mean, go on YouTube and search for Scotty Kimler, SCOTTYKIMLER, right? You won't believe he was a mechanic, and he has been doing these tutorial videos. And today, since last 10 years, he's a very old mechanic, about 50. He should be about 50, 55, right? And he has answered to every problem of a car. Beautiful videos. I think he has about 1 million subscribers. Now, anyway, our goal is not to get 1 million subscribers, right? Our goal is to engage with our clients. Our goal is to help our clients. So let's say you are a car mechanic. You have something to do with a car. You run a car workshop. You have a car related business. You sell car accessories, something. Why don't we do a tutorial about keeping your car in top shape during lockdown, right? I'm sure, by the way, you haven't you should have started your car in the last 23 days. If not, please do that now, right? Your batteries will get discharged. And thanks, Scotty Kimler, for all this, right? So these are examples of tutorials. Simple. And tutorials need not be in one form. They need not be in the form of a video. They could, as I told you, they could be in the form of a WhatsApp message. They could be in the form of a simple image, right? You've written something, you've designed something in a simple manner, and you've converted that into an image, and you're sharing that image. As simple as that. Last example of comparisons. Right. So let's talk about, we spoke more about retail industries all this while. Let's talk a bit about manufacturing industry. Let's say you are a tool manufacturer, right? Can you make a post? And when I talk about post, it does not mean anything complicated, guys. It is just a Microsoft Word document put on an internet. That's all. People think, oh, blog post, I don't know where to go, what to do. Nothing. When you put it on your Facebook page, it becomes a post. When you share it through WhatsApp, right, it becomes a post. When you type it on Microsoft Word and just make sure that you convert it into PDF so that nobody else can edit it, it becomes a shareable PDF post. That's all. It's as simple as that is. Don't get misled by these jargons. I have got misled. I went north instead of going south, right? So best or cheapest tools in the market. Imagine a comparison. You don't have to be the best, or you don't have to be the cheapest, but what if you talk about the best and the cheapest tools in the market? let's say you're a real estate agent, right? Or you are a builder, right? So why don't you talk about best areas to buy a land after lockdown and make it very, very local? Don't talk about India, America, United States, Singapore, Canada. No, talk about Ganapati, talk about Cheranmanagar, talk about Vellakinar, talk about Saranampati. Be local, because they are your target audience, right? So we saw four examples. We saw four examples of very different or diverse industries, to do how-to videos, to do comparisons, to do tutorials, and to do tips, right? What
Hi,
more?
Akash.
Yes.
Yeah, Akash, people is having a question. They
Yes.
need some examples about event and wedding industry.
Event and wedding industry. Wonderful. So, friends, you all belong to the event and wedding planners, maybe many of you. Very good question, fantastic question. I really appreciate the person asking this question, relevant. So see, when do we engage you as a event planner? You know, when there is going to be something very important, right? But many times we may not engage you for a smaller event which we feel that we can do ourselves. So why don't you do a checklist about planning your child's first um, birthday? Planning your child's first birthday. Simple. Do a checklist. And the checklist can be simple, can be moderate, can be exhaustive, depending on your interest of sharing content. And do you think that people will look at that content and they'll do by themselves? You know, actually not. Nobody will do by themselves. If they want to give it to you, they will give it to you. Trust me. If they want to give it to you, they will give it to you. And those who actually do these, I mean, will do by themselves, whatever you say, they are going to do by themselves. Whatever you say, whatever you quote, whatever you cost, they are going to do by themselves, right? So let's say you target, you further segment your target audience. Let's say you have about 50 of your clients for whom you have completed their wedding last year. Example, right? So you've just completed their wedding last year. Typically, nature's law, after wedding, what happens? That's what happens, right? So they will expect, a childbirth, if not this year, or max to max the next year, 80% of them at least. So why don't you share a post? Why don't you share a checklist, or why don't you share tips of how to have the first naming ceremony? Think about it. Think about it. What not to do during an event? What not to do during an event, right? Many people, including me, until I was introduced to Jagan, we think that, oh my God, event planner, that's all. He's going to steal all my money. If my expense normally is going to be $100, with this event planner, it is going to be $200. That's what people perceive. They perceive that event planners are costly, right? Why don't you create a simple video of talking about what value an event planner can bring? Think about it. What value an event planner can bring, right? I still remember, I think way back 16 years ago, a very, very relevant question came up. I think this was also there in one of the videos, right? There was a video about two of them being event planners, marriage event planners. I don't remember the name, but I'm very bad with movies, guys. Right? So
Aha Kalyanam.
yeah, Aha Kalyanam. Correct, exactly. You know what the heroine says? It's such a convincing statement. She made that statement that when people come to your wedding, sir, you have to be present to welcome them. Let us take all the tension. and that comes at a very marginally higher cost, right? How many of the people do you think know of all this? People think I should go to an event planner when I want to do theme events, when I have big budgets, when I have excellent, when that's something that has to be outstanding, extraordinary. Right? But that's not the necessity. 80% of our events that we end up managing are normal events, just made a tad better. Yes, 20% are specialized events, right? But 80% are normal. Think about it. You can have a checklist, right? You can have a checklist is actually a tutorial. Manage your own event, no problem. Many people looking at the exhaustive checklist, they'll hire you if they have the brains in the right place. Think about businesses. Okay, forget individuals. Look at what can you do for a small business, and create a video or create a how to, right? How to organize a customer meet, how to organize Diwali celebrations for your customers, how to organize a product launch. Do you think because you're going to tell this, they are going to go away and business is not going to come to you? No, not at all. Not at all. Because who will come to you will always come to you. And who will go away will always go away, whether you give this content or you don't give this content. Think about it, right? Think about it. Let's say you have a set of clients who are small businesses for whom you have done some work, right? You can categorize those clients and only run specific, how to do merchandising or benefits of merchandising. Think about it. Right? Comparisons. Typically people think when the event manager is a big company, they get big value or they get better value out. Don't name anybody in your write-up or in your post or in your video, but you can very simply do a comparison between you and others. Comparison between a small and the best and the biggest. Hope I was able to answer that question. I like this question, right? I hope we'll have many more questions to come up. Wonderful. So with that, we'll close with these examples, and let's go to few other items that I want to talk to you about. Most important, guys, what we spoke about until now is creating your content, right? We spoke about creating the content which helps your friends. Or sorry, your clients. Now we are talking about promoting your content. What if you create and you keep? Nothing happens. Nothing is going to happen. So what and how to promote? And my focus is to keep it very simple. So I've not gone very deep into many of the aspects of promoting the content. But if you want free, right? Absolutely free. These are the 4 methods. Share your content through your mobile phone. Share them through WhatsApp. Just forward. Share them through Facebook. Share them through YouTube. You can also put it on YouTube and share that link through WhatsApp, right? You can also put it on Facebook and share the Facebook post link through WhatsApp. I'm going to give you a very big secret. Listen very carefully. People, the best way to promote your content, friends, is to have it as your WhatsApp status. Think about it. Everybody looks at WhatsApp status. Everybody looks at everybody's WhatsApp status. Why? Because we have nothing better to do. Now, sorry. Now. So if you have your piece of content on WhatsApp status, they're going to go like this, yeah, okay, something. Okay, Raj has put on something. Yeah. If they're interested, they'll continue. If they're not, they're just going to swipe and they're just going to move forward. The second secret, look at Facebook groups. Look at some Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups, of course, your reach on Facebook is going to be only limited to your connections. So if you want to reach outside of your connections, you should look at Facebook groups. A lot of groups are there. A lot of groups are there. Just find groups that are relevant to you. Just find groups that are relevant to you. And nothing, you have your mobile phone, if you want to write an article and convert it into PDF, download Microsoft Word from App Store or from, what is it, Play Store or App Store or whatever it is called. Download it, write it, convert it into PDF, share it. Simple. Or send an email to your clients. You don't require anything more. So, number one, create content that helps your clients, right? And we spoke about personal level content and we spoke about business level content. Business level content has two significant advantages. It gives you long-term sales and it gives brand awareness, brand building, brand trust, whatever you want to call it. But brand is a big part of it. And then we spoke about 4 examples, right, of what kind of content that you should create. These 4 examples are not extensive examples. I'm just giving you 4 examples that may be very relevant. We spoke about how-to videos, we spoke about tutorials, we spoke about tips, and we spoke about comparisons. And the most important thing is promote your content. And how you can promote is by these 4. You can start with these 4 and then keep expanding. You have a lot more. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have LinkedIn, you have so many, right? But you have to choose what resonates with your audience, with your clients. Where are they? Where are your clients? Be present there, right? Okay, so moving to the next, some do's and don'ts before we close. Some do's and don'ts. Do's. Don't hire somebody else to do the videos. Come on, you have to do it. Because it is you, the business owner, the digital business owner. Don't have somebody else to do it, guys. Yeah, Pepsi can hire Shah Rukh Khan or Alia Bhatt or whoever, they want to hire. We are not Pepsi, we are not Coke. We are not Kareena Kapoor. Sorry, we are not somebody who can hire Kareena Kapoor. And we don't have to be as beautiful or as smart as those actors are. No, we just have to be we. We just have to be we. There is a lot more influence via personal connection than via anything else. I'm telling you. When your clients see you in the video, that is it, right? They're going to watch the video because it has come from you and you are there. Second, do it regularly. That doesn't mean that do one in the morning, do one in the afternoon, and do one in the evening. All your clients will go away. Promise. Been there, done that, right? Learn. No, don't overdo it, but don't underdo it also, right? In today's digital world, everybody's attention span has reduced. What psychologists say is, if you are not present every 38 hours, I think, there is 56% chances that people will forget you. 36 hours and 56% chances that people will forget you. So do once or twice a week, more than enough. Start by doing it just 15 you can even start by doing it twice in a month. You can just do it twice in a month. Even that is okay. Once in 15 days, it means. And then slowly you can increase to once a week. And when you're confident, you can increase to twice a week. Right? Collect feedback, listen to your clients. See, let's understand that we are business owners. We are not marketers, but that doesn't mean that we cannot be marketers. If we listen, if we collect feedback from our clients, we can become a bloody fucking effective marketer. We can. Right? So collect feedback. Hey, it's not that there was nothing useful in this video. If something if a comment like that comes, don't become defensive. Maybe that's what this person has to offer as feedback to you. See of how we can improve. Simple. Do add humor once in a while, right? I know humor cannot be added everywhere, but wherever possible, do add humor. Don'ts. Friends first. Don't hire a digital marketing agency after this particular webinar and then talk about a contract and then start doing it. You won't have a clue of what they're going to be doing. You do it first. You don't have to spend at all. I told you, there is nothing that you have to spend. Very minimal you may have to spend. Otherwise, it's all good. Don't sell, never sell. Create content to help your customer, help your client. Don't sell. This is not how to increase your sales webinar. No, this is how to be a digital business owner and how to help your clients webinar, right? So don't use this particular method to sell. You will fail miserably. Don't spam. What is spamming? You know what is spamming, right? Do you want this credit card, sir? I am married for 15 years, 10 years, okay? It feels like 15. And then somebody calls me and, sir, do you want a marriage loan? I asked, for whom? I'm married. I don't want a marriage loan. Hell, I never want a marriage loan again. And so don't spam at all. And don't be negative. Very important. Be positive, right? We are talking about what not to do, right? That's a positive. Oh shit, you did this. That's negative. Don't go on fear, go on positivity. Yes, you can use certain circumstances. Like for example, in my car example, I told you what to do with your car during the lockdown, right? So that's a situation that we are trying to use to our advantage by not being negative. Guys, who will be the negative? Who are those negative content creators? It is the media. You don't want to be one among them. By the way, these are all my personal thoughts. Purely personal thoughts. The media is negative. You don't want to be one among them. So be positive. Don't be negative. Many people want to instill fear, want to instill negativity during, in their content. Don't. Be positive. That will be taken better. Right. So with this, I think I have spoken to you a bit. I have exchanged what I know, and back to you guys. We can now take up questions.
Akash, that's a wonderful question.
Yes.
Question goes like this: can you rank the order of digital platform in terms of reach, vis-a-vis cost, say between Insta, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc.?
Facebook, Twitter. See, so there are two types of reaches, right? One is organic reach and the other one is inorganic reach. Obviously, for inorganic reach, you have to pay. What do I mean by inorganic reach? Is those who are not your connections, who are not your clients, who don't know you. Those are inorganic people. And right now, the best platform for a great inorganic, for a very cheap and great inorganic reach is one is TikTok, and the other one is Instagram. Sorry, not Instagram, LinkedIn. Both of these are very good in terms of inorganic reach. And for organic reach, Facebook is pathetic in terms of both organic as well as inorganic, because there is just over concentration of data on Facebook, or over concentration of everything and everybody on Facebook. So that's not going to help anybody. But organic concentration is very good with the WhatsApp, right? So if you don't want if your target audience are those whom you know, WhatsApp is the best way to reach out to them. Yeah.
Okay, how can you identify a good digital marketing agency? Okay, I know, like you said, don't straight away jump into digital marketing agency, but some of our event management people have already been into
Yeah,
digital.
they would have been, and they would be doing all of this earlier. So it is actually a very difficult task to find a digital marketing agency, right? Because of three reasons. Number one is because everybody is atrociously costly. Second is they talk stuff that we don't understand. And third, why you should keep away from digital marketing agencies is because usually when you meet the founder, he or she, they show you, wow, yeah, we can make your business grow 2x, 3x. We can do SEO, SEM, SOO, SEC, and all of those jargons, PPC, and all of that. But once you sign up with them, that person vanishes, and your account is with the junior entry level people around, right? So if you really want to do good digital marketing, instead of hiring a digital marketing agency, hire a digital marketing consultant. That would be my recommendation. Keep away from agencies unless and until you have so much of money that that you can, you have the control, you have the power, right? So think about it. Jagan, I think even they respectively can ask their questions if they desire so.
Yeah, it has been put in the chat box. I just picked up a few questions from the chat box and I put it across to you.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
no
we can
problem.
have the mics open so that people can put across their questions directly.
Yes. So one of the points that we can discuss is what somebody else is doing, right? Let's say you are doing something else which you think may be useful for the other about 20, 25, 26 participants. Why don't you share what you're doing also? That will also be good. That's a possibility. Yeah, you're reading any questions, Jagan?
Yeah. Which is better, pay-per-click or pay-per-reach?
Oh my God. So I think the people, I mean, the webinar that I took is way below what you guys expected. Is way below, because if you're going to talk about pay-per-click and pay-per-reach, right? This webinar may not be very helpful to you, because this seems to be a more of a beginner's webinar. Anyway, so pay-per-click and pay-per-reach are two different concepts altogether, right? So you have to use pay-per-click at certain times, and you have to use pay-per-reach at certain times. I'll give you some example. Let's say your intent of running the particular campaign is branding. It is branding, right? Then you do pay-per-reach, because in a branding perspective, there is no significant call to action or specific call to action that you are going to expect. You just want to reach as many number of people as possible, and that is what pay-per-reach allows you to do. But let's say you are running a specific campaign to generate, let's say, for example, leads, right? Or you want or you have something which is a downloadable content, and you want people to visit your landing page and download your content. If that is how it is going to be, there you are not concerned about branding. You are concerned about the number of people who download this particular article or the collection of this email ID or subscriptions to your newsletters or whatever. So in that case, you will have to look at pay per click. So two different reasons, two different ways. Hope I've answered your question.
Yes.
Jagan?
Yeah. Like you said, TikTok and Insta are low but effective. What's your view on YouTube? Because we like normally when we as event see, you have started your career when you were into college also with event management, right?
Yeah.
You did few programs like you were there on the mic and the organizing part.
Yes.
At that time we didn't have all these facilities but right now what happens is, as an artist or as an event manager, when people ask us for some quotation or some introduction, now normally people give the YouTube links or their performance links, things like that. So in general, we just like to know, like, what is your view on YouTube when compared to TikTok and Insta?
See, so there are, let's say you want to, YouTube has become more of a video search engine, right? So that's what YouTube has become. It has become more of a media search engine or a video search engine. So you can create videos, you can put it on YouTube, and it's going to be there for ages and ages. That's the same concept of Google also. So which is more effective is very subjective, subjective to your target audience. Let's say, for example, your target audience are business owners, friends, they are not on TikTok. Your target audience, if they are business owners, they are not on TikTok. TikTok is more for the youngsters, more for kids and children and early adulthood up to about 20, 21. Beyond that, at least in India, TikTok doesn't work, right? And Instagram is for a more mature audience. So be very cautious what you can promote on Instagram and what you cannot promote on Instagram. It's quite very different. So as you see, each of these channels have different approaches, have different target audience, and you have to choose which works best in your scenario or in the scenario of your campaign that you are specifically trying to do.
Okay. Fine. Any questions from the audience? Akash, since there are no questions, like I'd like to just ask you one final question. See, we have planned
one more question. Can I, Jagan?
Yeah, Sudarshan.
Thanks a lot for your time and valuable inputs. In fact, I have raised many of the questions. Just one last question. Can you? I don't know whether it's relevant to the topic, but something related to digital only. Can you please tell me how does revenue generation happen for the benefit of viewers? How does revenue generation happen in terms of YouTube as a channel? Apart from the advertising which happens there, how does YouTube per se make payouts to people who have a lot of subscribers, etc.? How does that happen?
Yeah. So it is a cyclical process as far as YouTube is concerned. You don't have to necessarily have ads, but any platform is only as good as the content that is there on its platform, right? So let's say I create a wonderful platform like Facebook, but I have only 200 people or I have only 300 people. What's the point? there's no point, right? So the same way for YouTube, it is imperatively important that new fresh content keeps coming to their platform. Only because of this new fresh content will users, stick to YouTube, right? So YouTube incentivizes those people who put on authentic content on YouTube through something which is called as channels, right? And you have subscribers. So what YouTube says is, put as much relevant, informative, useful content, grow your subscribers, and for the time that you are spending to create useful content, we will pay you. Is what YouTube says, and they pay in loads, they pay in tons and tons. I hope I have answered your question.
No. You said that they will also pay for creating the content. Is my understanding right?
They pay for creating the content, meaning so we create the content, we put it on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And after we put it on YouTube, depending on our viewership, depending on our subscribers.
Okay. It's a purely a subscriber game only. It's only a number game.
Absolutely. And that is how everybody wins.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's only one party who will win.
Correct. Point taken. So it's not like, you create some real good content. YouTube is going to see the content and they're going to pay. No. If the content is good and the subscribers are also going to be there, and then they pay the money.
Absolutely. Right.
And to just for a general knowledge question, what is the content? What is the number of subscribers one expects from to start generating some revenue? How many subscribers should be there approximately?
So YouTube officially says that you should have 1,000 subscribers to start earning from YouTube.
So what's the earning then? Suppose I have 1,000 subscribers. What is the earning which is it a monthly, or how does it happen? How does the whole thing happen?
Right. So that's a separate masterclass by itself, but I'll give you some pointers. YouTube pays every 15 days. And there are tons of people YouTube is paying, not only in the world, but very importantly, even in India. Lot of people who put their content and their content is liked is paid by YouTube after it is, of course, engaging. So typically, if you have 1,000 subscribers, you make people, we may not make any money. The real money that we can make is about 5,000 to 8,000 bucks every month we can make once our viewership crosses about 20,000 subscribers. Right?
Okay.
And then there are three other metrics that they have. One is the subscriber metrics. The other three metrics are relevant to the specific video that you are creating. So how long do they watch your video? Let's say your video is 10 minutes, right? And people go out in just 5 minutes, then that's only a 50% throughput. So they see at that aspect also. How long do viewers watch your video? How engaging is your content? Do people like it and share it? All of those three metrics combined, a payout is offered.
Okay, got it. I would request you to do something on YouTube also, if time permits you.
YouTube masterclass you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sudarshan, I've spoken to him for 2 more sessions. One will be on coming Friday, same time 6, and other will be on next week. So, Akash, I would like to ask you, what is the content you have for the next session?
Yeah, so maybe we should ask our audience what kind of content would be interesting, because
probably on what we planned, if you could tell, then they can build up from that, plus or minus we can do something.
Absolutely. So one of the aspects that we discussed, Jagan, was how to use digital to create trust with your pipeline. That is, with your suspects, with your past prospects, or the whole pipeline together. How to create trust. So that is one one topic that we spoke about, and the other topic
was on like other one we wanted to have the basics, that is for WhatsApp marketing and the Google business.
Yeah. Google My Business. How to use Google My Business to the fullest extent.
I think that's a good one. Google My Business is a good one.
Yeah, that's something that will be very useful.
Yeah. That's a very useful one.
Wonderful. Good.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And on behalf of SIA, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and we look forward for many more sessions also in days to come.
Pleasure always. Pleasure always.
Dear friends, we'll keep you posted about the forthcoming programs. Thank you for joining us. This is Jagannathan from Mile Foundation. Thanks, Mr. Akash, for being with us. Thanks to Vijay for hosting the all the technical backups and the question and answer handling. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Be safe, everyone, and look forward. Bye.